to the transition. Now, the union leader who claimed that Donald Trump lied to employees of the Carrier Corporation, excuse me, is telling CNN Money he has no regrets about calling out the president-elect. But we do need, the devil is in the detail here, and this is how the feud unfolded. At 7:18 last night, 7:18 p.m., Chuck Jones, the president of the Steelworkers Union, appeared on CNN, and he disputed the number of jobs that will be saved by Donald Trump's deal with Carrier.
Yeah, I think he's did a lot of negotiations, and I have likewise. And if you're dealing with people's livelihoods, you sure as the world ought to know what the numbers are.
Now, it appears that the president-elect was paying close attention. So 7:18, Jones speaks, and 23 minutes later, after he appeared on CNN, Donald Trump tweeted that Trump says Jones has done a Chuck Jones, who is president of the United Steelworkers, has done a terrible job representing workers. No wonder companies flee the country. So, you see the timescale? So we're back at 17. Then Jones comes back on air at 8:56 to defend himself, whereupon Trump followed up with another tweet just before 9 o'clock, in which he said, if United Steelworkers was any good, they would have kept those jobs in Indiana, spend more time working, less time talking, reduce, I assume he means union dues. At the heart of this dispute is the disagreement over exactly how many jobs have been saved. Donald Trump's repeatedly insisted it's more than 1,000.
I will tell you that United Technologies and Carrier stepped it up, and now they're keeping, actually, the numbers over 1,100 people, which is so great, which is so great.
We're saving the jobs at the Carrier plant from going to Mexico. 1,100 jobs.
But numbers are not all they might seem. So Donald Trump claims it's 1,100. But that, he says, is misleading according to the unions, because only 800 of those numbers were factory workers. The rest were office workers who were never going to go to Mexico. Speaking on CNN, Jones said that confusion meant, and the reason why this is important from the union's point of view, is that this discrepancy between the two, there is still hundreds of jobs that will be lost at Carrier.
Well, the reality is we're grateful, once again, to have 730 of our members still have a job. And it's due to President-elect Trump getting involved. My problem is when they put out earlier in the week that 1,100 and some odd jobs were going to be saved, a lot of the people thought at that point in time that they were going to have a job. During the conference that Pence and Trump were at Carrier, they talked about over 1,100 jobs. They did not mention anything about 550 jobs here in Indianapolis going to Mexico. So a lot of the people in that crowd and throughout the plant thought they were, at that point in time, we're going to have a job, only to find out when we told them the next day that 550 of them were going to lose their job to Monterrey, Mexico.
CNN's political director, David Chaldin, is with me from Washington. On these situations, I always think perhaps the first question to ask, David, is cock-up or deliberate obfuscation of the numbers by the president-elect?
I go back to President-elect Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, Richard, and get to this expression that he used there that he says he employs all the time, which is, quote, truthful hyperbole. Now, clearly there's a discrepancy in the numbers. In Donald Trump's mind, he might be, he did save jobs. So if he's a little hyperbolic and exaggerates the number to tell his story, that's sort of the way he has conducted himself. It's a different universe to do that as president-elect, or even more so as president of the United States, when everybody hangs on your actual words. And I know to the audience it might be, guys, what are you doing, quibbling about 300 jobs or not? He saved jobs. But as you said, those 300 jobs, those are people, those are livelihoods, sitting around kitchen tables. It matters to them whether or not they're in the count or not. That is their future.
So, as I understand it from this, the 300 difference weren't going anyway. Therefore, there are several hundred of the manufacturing jobs that are going.
Right, exactly. I think about 500 or so are heading to Mexico, which was reported at the time. And of course, Trump didn't want to focus on those at all. Some of these jobs that are in the discrepancy of the count, they were, as you noted, they were staying anyway.
Right.
They were never really on the chopping block.